Congress has been claiming one of the most productive sessions in history. But inside the House, chaos is clearly unfolding. Speaker Mike Johnson completely lost control of his caucus this morning. What began as a 4-member Republican rebellion could soon grow larger, especially once the vote on extending Affordable Care Act subsidies comes up. A 3-year extension that leadership tried to block. Democratic leadership outmaneuvered Johnson entirely. They already have 4 Republicans willing to vote with Democrats to pass the bill. That means the votes are there. The problem is this: Speaker Mike Johnson wants to adjourn the House early. MAGA Mike flees Washington. MAGA Mike is now effectively fleeing Washington because he can't get his house in order. And it's reached a point where even the Murdoch media machine can't spin this in his favor. Sure, he's definitely not panicking. It's not like he's sending the House home a day before the Epstein files deadline or anything, but that's exactly what he's doing. He does not want action on this bill. He knows the votes exist, and he appears unconcerned that millions of Americans could soon face higher healthcare costs. A week of chaos on Capitol Hill. This week in Washington has been chaotic, to put it mildly. Speaker Johnson keeps insisting that he's in charge, even as members of his own party openly defy him and force votes against his wishes. When asked about the disorder, Johnson brushed it off. He called it intense fellowship. He said everyone is working through complex issues. He blamed the situation on the fact that Republicans hold the smallest majority in U.S. history. According to Johnson, these are not normal times. He argued that certain House procedures aren't normally used when majorities are larger, because leadership usually has the luxury of absorbing dissent. But with a razor-thin margin, he says, every disagreement becomes a crisis. This is fine, but it's not. At this point, Mike Johnson has become the live-action version of the "this is fine" meme. Everything is clearly on fire, but he insists it's under control. Meanwhile, attention briefly shifted to President Trump's national address, an address so packed with questionable claims that CNN's chief fact-checker Daniel Dale was working late into the night. One analyst described it as a half-asleep fact-check kind of speech. Fact-checking the president's claims. Many of the president's claims have already been debunked, repeatedly. For example, Trump said inflation has stopped. That's false. Inflation is currently around 3%, and in September, that marked the 5th consecutive month inflation increased. Trump also claimed he inherited the worst inflation in U.S. history. That's also false. He inherited roughly 3% inflation in January. Even the Biden-era peak of 9.1% in June 2022 was a 40-year high. Not the worst in history. The all-time high inflation rate was over 23%, far above anything seen recently. Then there was the claim about cutting prescription drug prices by 400 to 600%. That is mathematically impossible. If prices dropped more than 100%, people would be paid to take medication, which is obviously not happening. The real story: ACA rebellion. While those distractions played out, the real story unfolded quietly in Congress. Earlier this week, 4 Republican lawmakers broke with GOP leadership and signed a Democrat-led discharge petition. Their goal: force a vote on extending Affordable Care Act subsidies. House leadership had blocked that vote. Speaker Johnson's response? He insisted he had not lost control of the House, but even Fox News disagreed. Fox News admits the problem. Fox hosts acknowledged this was a major issue for the administration. They noted growing anger among the MAGA base, especially over the Epstein files. Supporters were promised transparency. Influencers were photographed with binders. And then Nothing. Now, files are supposedly coming on Friday. At the same time, Fox acknowledged what everyone could already see. Mike Johnson lost control of his caucus. Democratic leadership outplayed him. Instead of engaging with multiple discharge petitions, they waited. They targeted the 3-year ACA subsidy extension, and they successfully flipped Republicans like Fitzpatrick and Lawler. Now, a vote is coming, whether Johnson likes it or not. The conclusion was blunt. Mike Johnson is not in control of his caucus. So, what does MAGA Mike do next? At the exact moment, healthcare costs are about to spike for millions if no action is taken. He sends the House home. And not just any time. He sends them home the day before the Justice Department is set to release the Epstein files in full. Once again, it looks like Johnson is doing everything possible to delay the release or ensure Republicans aren't in town to answer questions. This follows a familiar pattern, including his egregious delay in swearing in Democratic Representative Adelita Grijalva. Johnson defends himself. When asked why he hadn't sworn her in, Johnson insisted the issue had nothing to do with Epstein. He claimed everyone in Congress supports transparency. He pointed out that the Epstein files were in the possession of the Biden-Harris Department of Justice for 4 years. He accused Democrats of being silent during that time. He called the current outrage partisan and manufactured. At the same time, he acknowledged the seriousness of the crimes. He said he has personally met with victims. He said everyone involved should face justice. Healthcare, still no plan. But after all of this, let's take stock. You have a speaker insisting he's in control while Republicans repeatedly defy him. You have a party unable to unify around a healthcare plan, which is remarkable, considering Republican leaders have claimed for nearly a decade that they do have a plan. In one interview, they said proposals could be ready immediately. That interview was over a month ago. Still no plan. 8 years, still nothing. Remember John McCain's famous thumbs down? That was 8 years ago. Republicans have had 8 years to come up with an Obamacare alternative, and they still don't have one. After McCain's vote, Trump said Obamacare should be allowed to implode. Earlier this month, Trump said Obamacare sucks. And yet, the centerpiece of the Trump plan now appears to be extending Obamacare subsidies, the very thing Democrats demanded during the shutdown. So why leave Washington? So why send the House home early? Why block a healthcare vote? Why flee Washington? To ensure Republicans aren't around to protect healthcare, and to make sure they aren't present when the Epstein files are released, or not released. Americans notice members of Congress are hearing it directly from constituents. One lawmaker described a constituent paying more for health insurance than for their mortgage. Others demanded a simple thing: bring the bill to the floor. Have the courage to vote. Stop running. Stop hiding. Republicans have spent more time delaying, shutting down the government, and avoiding votes than passing meaningful legislation. And voters see it. Even Republican constituents are ripping their own leadership on air. Polls tell the story. Poll after poll shows even staunch MAGA supporters are heading for the exits. Among 2024 Trump voters, strong approval dropped from 66% in March to just 50% now. Fox News polling shows 72% of voters say national economic conditions are bad or poor. Trump's overall approval rating now sits at 39%, down 2 points. And that decline is dragging down Speaker Mike Johnson right along with it. This is not a party in control. This is not unified leadership. This is dysfunction in public. And Americans are watching.